Good afternoon, everybody. Callum Poole here from Herbst Software. I'd like to welcome you all to this afternoon's webinar for the quarry concrete industry on minimizing contact and maximizing integration for your quarry and concrete business. The webinar should take no longer than an hour. I will be talking about Herbst Software and our business, where we're fully integrated quarry management software, providing full integration for your quarry management business, from your accounts to your weighbridge to your batching plant to your haulage and weighbridge and manufacturing and so on. Delighted to be joined today by Keith McGrath from Cemfloor Liquid Screed, part of McGrath's group in Cong, County Mayo. Jordan Millar from Pneutrol batching plant providers, and Stephen McAvinchey from Gravitation weighbridges. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to go over to the right-hand side of your screen and hit chat. And Sean Fitzgerald from Herbst Software will be on hand to answer any questions that you may have. So I'll start now. I'll just end this presentation, and I have a couple of videos to show about our product and about who we are and who Herbst Software are, and I will be then passing over to the other presenters. Okay, so once again, thank you all very much for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit the chat there, and we can answer any questions that you may have. Okay.
Hello, my name is Sean Fitzgerald. Since 2008, we've been working closely with the Irish and UK quarry and concrete industries to develop an industry-specific business management solution. One of the biggest problems in the aggregate industry is the time it takes to take the tickets from your weighbridge and enter them into your account system. With Herbst Software, we get rid of this problem completely. We have a weighbridge module. This is designed to work with the vast majority of weighbridges on the market. But what happens is that when your ticket is generated at the actual weighbridge, through our weighbridge module, it now becomes a document within the actual system. Herbst Software recognizes that today's quarry works 24/7. To help in the procedures of this, we also have a self-service kiosk. Herbst Software's touchscreen self-service kiosk allows your weighbridge to operate 24/7. In addition to some of the other features already mentioned, we have specific solutions for site price, radial zones, and batching plant integration. A serious problem that the industry has is collecting signatures for deliveries on site. Over the years, it's been very, very paper-based. In collaboration with our client, we have developed the Trucker app. This app allows you to collect signatures for deliveries on site, taking into account waiting time and time of delivery. Thank you for watching this video. If you want any further information, please call us.
There's a lot of working parts to our systems. That's why I chose to play that video with Sean, giving a good overview of the capabilities of our system of Herbst Insight for the quarry concrete industry. You'll be seeing some other parts of our system today, but not the full view and the full scope of its capabilities. So I just wanted to play that just to give you an idea of what our system can do for your business. Okay. So as Sean mentioned, a couple of things in the video, such as our Trucker app, which is electronic POD, and our driver self-service kiosk that integrates with the weighbridge. They're the other couple of things that I'm going to be speaking about now over the next few minutes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to run through our driver self-service. Okay. So this is a driver self-service, basically sitting on the weighbridge that enables drivers to weigh in and weigh out without having to come near the office or see anybody or speak to anybody. Very handy at the moment, because not only does it reduce administration and paperwork, it also is our most effective module for contactless. It's fully integrated with the main system, so as soon as a driver weighs in or weighs out, you see that reflected at either the supplier or the customer within the system, and fully updates your account. So what happens is, when the driver will either have a card to swipe, or they can put in a code. And you'll see this in action. I'm going to show a video of this working in a live site after this, okay? So I put in my code, pick my goods out to customer. So this is going to be usually touch screen, okay? The driver can have themselves. Goods out to customer, okay? Any loads assigned to the driver, they'll see here. So usually this will be done one at a time, as opposed to a huge amount, okay? So you can see here, this is going to Kildare County Council, and it's going to site A, and it's 0.5 mil stone, okay? And you can see here my details come up down the bottom. So I'm Orson Herbst, my vehicle is that, and my registered tear is there. So we store all of that information within our system as well, around haulage and hauliers, okay? Confirming my order. See here, it's weighing the tear in. Our weighbridge, if your weighbridge is fully linked to our system, the tear will automatically be pulled in, okay, if it's different to the registered tear. So I won't have to go through this at all, okay? So this is me now weighing in. I go in as a driver, I pick up my load. I don't even have to get off the truck or get out of my cab. And then when I've loaded up and I'm coming back out, I just swipe my card again, pick the load, confirm that this is where I'm going to. Again, this gross weight will automatically be pulled in. Tells me exactly where I'm going to. If I want to add in any comments, and the driver signs, okay? And what happens is then, and you'll see this in the video, the docket will print out, and then the driver can take that docket to site. Also, we have our trucker, which Sean mentioned. So if it's a thing that you are going completely paperless, this will then just be pushed to the trucker app, and it can be signed electronically on site without any paperwork appearing anywhere, okay? So that's it. As you can see there, very simple, very easy to use, very intuitive for the driver's point of view. It's quite easy to use there, especially considering a lot of the drivers wouldn't necessarily be computer literate or whatever, okay? I'm just going to show you another video here of our site, a customer of ours, Loughnane Concrete. And it's just showing their truck actually So you can see there how easy that was for the driver to use without ever having to exit his cab or see anybody. In that particular case, the driver takes his piece of paper because that customer is not currently using the handhelds, and they go off to site then. And he can come back and he can weigh in and out all day, every day, without ever having to see anybody or get out of his cab unless he absolutely needs to. Okay, so even that that standalone kiosk there that you saw on the weighbridge, that's manufactured by Herbst Software, and we can provide that as well and assist with the installation along with the usual driver kiosk software. So it can be used either or. It can be used as an interface where the drivers can get out of the cab, or the better would be what you see there in Loughnane Concrete, which is the kiosk at cab height in the weighbridge, especially considering the world that we're living in at the moment with COVID-19. The driver should obviously minimize contact as much as possible, okay? And as I said, if it is the case that the customer is using Trucker or Trucker ePOD app, we can push the tickets from the kiosk automatically directly to the driver kiosk, okay? So what happens here is I'm going to run through our Trucker app, and this will be the last thing I do before I hand you over to Jordan. This is not just an ePOD app, it also facilitates the driver checklist and the daily walk around, okay? So this is assigned on a driver by driver basis. You can see there Orson, driver number 100. He can go in here, he can do his checklist. The checklist is stored on the device automatically. So if it's a case that he gets stopped by the guards or the police, or he needs to show something to a customer, he can do that, okay? And it's also stored in the system, in the back end, to keep track of repairs and maintenance on the vehicle, okay? When he clicks onto his load, he'll see here exactly where he's going to, where the driver is going to, the contact details of the customer, and the product he's delivering and the quantity, okay? So this fully links with Google Maps. So as soon as the driver clicks on if he's not familiar with where he's going, as soon as he clicks on the address, he can go in here and see exactly where he's going to, okay? And then he can send them an SMS directly from the app to let them know he's going to be X amount of minutes, so 30 minutes there to arrival, okay? When the driver gets to site then, what they do is he presses start then, so you can see my list of loads there. So he presses start, and the reason he presses start is in the background, there's a stopwatch ticking, and what that's doing is it's calculating standing time and any cost that may be associated with that, okay? So you can add in any comments. So if it's ready mix that you're dealing with, you can added X amount of water, or if it's aggregate, you may not need to add any comments at all, or you may need to put in a reason for why you were waiting so long. You can also add pictures if you need to, as you can see there, for whatever reason. And this creates a delivery docket. So the picture, any picture taken, any signature or any notes added will be automatically attached to the delivery docket. Hands it to the customer. Customer signs it, and they can see what they're signing for. So they can see the comments and the quantity and the product that they're ordering, okay? And so this has all been developed in conjunction with the Quarry concrete industry. So anything that is in here has been put in at the request of our customers. He presses save, and then he clicks finish as soon as he leaves site. This also works offline, so it can be saved offline, and then that appears back in your office, in your accounts, as a live signed delivery docket straight away. Okay, so you can get a feel there from those two videos and from seeing me demonstrating the driver kiosk. You get a real sense of integration there straight away, and all working with the back end. So the aim is to eliminate the duplication, particularly at the moment. Contactless is the big thing, all the while keeping your information visible to you and live. So that's all from me for the moment. So thanks very much for sticking with me. I'm going to hand you over to Jordan Millar from Pneutrol Pill, who will give a short presentation now on his part. Okay, I'll just chat to you again before the end of the demo. Thank you.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation to present here, Callum. I'm just going to get my slides up on the screen here. Okay, so I'm Jordan Millar. I'm sales manager with Pneutrol. I suppose what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to give a very brief introduction to Pneutrol, who we are, what we do, and then I'm going to get into the three main items I want to talk about today, which are the client-server concept within our software, and the avenues and options that this opens up for you, the customer, our auto email functionality. I want to talk a little bit about remote batching at the end and what's possible. So that's our head office in Northern Ireland. You can see we've got the windmill out the front, we've got the solar panels along the back of the building, so that, I guess, it makes us totally green, as it were. We're completely energy self-sufficient. Key facts about the company. I suppose we're an independent family-run company. It's our 45th year in business. Our head office is here in Northern Ireland on the picture you just saw. Our European office is in Dublin, and we have over 1,700 control system installations worldwide. I suppose control systems has always been our core business, and in recent years we have diversified into internet sales. We have a large calibrations department now, moisture control, etc., etc. But control systems is our core business. That's where our specialties are. We have an in-house CAD department, we have an in-house panel building department, an in-house software department. So basically, from a project comes into the company until it's installed and commissioned on site, we can offer you a turnkey solution, and that involves design, build, install, and commission. The other important thing just to mention is the extensive, I suppose, spare parts we have in stock, both in our Antrim head office and our European office in Dublin. The big benefit for us for having the office in Dublin is that we feel that we're completely Brexit proof. We can buy all our parts in Antrim from the UK and sterling. We can buy everything in Dublin in euro. So we believe we're Brexit proof. I suppose what is Dynamics is the question. And Dynamics is our latest batching software. It's been completely developed by our software programmers in-house. It's written in C#, and we utilize SQL databases. It's specifically been designed from the ground up to suit the concrete industry needs. As I said, we're using the latest technology in database and software design, and we believe it's a market-leading product. It's got a strong foundation which can be tailored or added to for customer-specific requirements. It's a big benefit of having your own software department, and that if a customer comes along, asks for something specific, it's within our means to be able to develop something for the customer. Okay, just to get into the first main point that we talked about, the server client functionality. So if we consider, I suppose the server is the main PC down at the plant, and the client are the remote PCs which connect to the server. So what that means is you can have up to 10 users, I suppose, simultaneously and independently connected into the main batching plant. So you can have, people, looking at stock, people looking at production, the technical department possibly modifying recipes or looking at recipes. If someone's, if there's multiple plants on the same site and somebody's off for the lunch, another plant on the site can connect into the first plant and maybe batch concrete, say, over lunchtime. So it's a very powerful aspect. And what that has allowed us to do, it's opened up a number of doors. Because of the server client functionality, it provides the ability to batch remotely. All the batch and plant manual controls are provided on screen. Each user connected can have independent control. User access can be configured based on security level rights. So if you have a disgruntled employee and they leave, if they leave your company, whatever it happens to be, it can be locked down straight away with a few clicks of the mouse. The other massive thing is that all the reports that you want to run can all be run locally, from the comfort of your own PC in your own office. So if you want to look at stock reports, you want to look at production, material usage, deliveries, whatever it happens to be, all that can be run remotely, without the need to go to the plant. And all the reports can be exported into a variety of export options in the Excel, PDF. I suppose the next big feature, or the next big thing I want to talk about is the ability to receive automatic emails. So now it's configurable within Dynamics, where you can configure the system to receive any number of automatic emails. So if you want to receive material usage report at the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, stock report, production summary, I suppose drop and load reports, alarm and event reports. The big thing that we've added to the system recently is the ability to email you if there has been a problem with a particular drop or a particular load. So, what happens all too often is there's a mechanical problem with a plant. Let's say a bin door sticks open. It perhaps overweighs sand or stone considerably. A lot of the time we don't find out there's a problem until either the concrete's gone to site or until possibly the next day or the day after, when the concrete hasn't set properly. Now, with this feature, we allow you to configure the system so that if any material falls out, I suppose outside a specified tolerance, it'll send you an email. So, for example, there's a hub up on screen, your Cem2 You could have a tolerance of 3%. If it weighs any more or less than 3%, it automatically sends you an email to warn you something's not right here. PFA could be 5%, sand 10%, 10 mil 7%. So it's all completely configurable. It gives you massive massive control over your batching plant, so straight away if something's gone wrong. Hopefully you can intercept it before it leaves the gates of the plant. I want just to go on to, I suppose, look at remote batching. I suppose the key parts are remote batching as we see it, as you've got a plant, the operator's there, but perhaps you want to batch that from a distant location. Perhaps the batcher man that's there, it's maybe a satellite plant. He's going to be driving the loading shovel, he's going to be doing other things, he may not be in the batching cabin all the time. So I suppose the points I have on screen there are the key things that we feel you need. You need a link to your account system. You need 21st century truck information, truck driver HMIs, automatic manual plant control remotely, enhanced alarms and traceability. If we look at your account system then, so how a standard link up from our system to an account system, say like Herbst, is configured as, the order is taken by a telephone or the ordering process, whatever that happens to be. The job details are entered on Herbst and sent over to the Pneutrol software. Because that's all done automatically, there's only data entry once. I suppose some of the problems we would see is, it's taken by an ordering office, all the details are written down, it's then passed to the batcher man verbally over the telephone or by email or whatever. He then has to type it into the PIL software on his own. A mistake can happen at any point of that process. So having all this happening automatically, it just removes your possibility of mistakes. So after it's been sent over to the PIL software, the lorry driver reverses onto the plant with his lorry. He types in his unique truck code to the HMI, and the plant automatically starts up and begins to load. I suppose on load completion, a confirmation is then sent back to Herbst to confirm the job details, the amount batched, etc. And this provides a closed loop system, which is obviously what you want. And then at this point, we print the delivery ticket. That can either be done via ourselves or via Herbst. I suppose 21st century truck information, these are some new truck signs installed down in Dublin. Actually, these signs are, so you can see here, we've got ultra bright, LEDs. We communicate to the truck sign, via Ethernet comms. We provide a suite of standard messages and displays on the signs, but again, it can be tailored for your needs. If you say you want to see something specific, generally we show door 1, door 2, and we show this load and the next loads in the queue. So next loads in the queue, it could be tailored to show 2, 3, 4 loads, whatever you're comfortable with, depending on how busy the plant is. If there's no load, shown as per the picture shows there in the left-hand truck sign, you can see it says no loads in the queue. I just want to give you a little bit more information about the truck driver interface panels. So I've taken a few screenshots there down the left-hand side of this slide. So upon your lorry driver coming back to the plant, remote batching only works if the lorry driver reverses in and then can begin the batching process automatically by himself. So the HMIs are completely geared up for the lorry driver reverses in. He types in his unique truck code and the plant automatically starts up. The HMIs are there to create the maximum efficiency possible. As soon as he's back, as soon as he reverses in, he types in the correct truck code, the plant will automatically start up. We also give him the facility, as you can see there in the top left picture, the ability to view or accept active alarms in the plant. And in the bottom picture, in the bottom left there, you can see the truck driver can view load details, the plant status, so the batching process can be as efficient as possible. Okay, I just wanted to talk about, I suppose, automatic manual control on screen. It's incredibly important. If you're going to be in a remote location, you need to be able to control the plant every step of the way. I suppose these are our new 3D mimics, which which we now offer with every plant. So you can see you've got your aggregate bins over on the left-hand side of the screen there. You know, the ag bins are numbered. Up at the top, you've got the weigher weight. As you move through the screen, you've got the weight conveyor below. You've got an incline conveyor up to the aggregate holding hopper. So over on the right-hand side, you've got your cement silos, your water, and the admix. And then you've got a graphical representation of the mixer and the 2 mixer doors. Now I've just shown a few buttons, you know, detailed around the screen here. You've got door 1, door 2, add water. But basically, if I was to switch the plant to manual now, I could control the full plant, you know, from the screen, you know, by the click of a mouse, as opposed to having to be in front of the plant pressing push buttons, whatever. So it's very much the modern way, and it's obviously a great way in the times that we live in, where you're trying to have contact with other people as little as possible. I just put this slide in here just to let you see that there's a range of manual control options and designs. The back screen there, we've got a crushing and screening plant. The middle picture is a blending plant where you've got multiple mixer doors, multiple hoppers below. And then the picture on the front is a milling plant, a dry and mixing milling plant. So there's a range of options. Our software team will configure the software and the manual controls dynamic as per the plant and as per the customer requirements. I suppose just in summary then, so Dynamics is Pneutrol's latest batching software. It can provide everything your business needs for remote batching. You know, we can add on truck signs, we can add on the HMIs, we can add on CCTV to ensure remote batching works for you. The key thing of Dynamics is you can connect to the plant from your own desk. You can run reports, check stock levels, modify recipes. That's all without the need to ever go near the plant. And Dynamics can be set up to automatically email reports or details of weighing issues, all completely automatically. I'm just going to put my details up on the screen there. If anyone wants to contact me to discuss further what they saw or what they've heard, or they want us to look at providing a quotation for any work on any of your plants, I suppose feel free to get in touch with me. I'm going to pass over now to Keith at Cemfloor.
Okay, thanks very much, Jordan, and thanks to Callum and the guys at Herbst for having us here today. My name is Keith McGrath, and I'm one of the managers here at McGrath's Limestone and Cemfloor Liquid Screed. I'm just going to start our slides. So I'm just going to go through a short presentation here on our Cemfloor cement base liquid screed and HPC binder. So I'll start with a brief company introduction and history. So we started off in the 1960s on predominantly agricultural lime. In 1985, we began to manufacture ready-mix concrete and blocks. 1998, we went into the installation of and laying of asphalt. 2001, then was our first venture into cement-based liquid screed. So we done that here through our own batching plants for the local market. 2008, then we began to limestone grinding for the production of limestone filler products. 2010, we began to export them to European and UK markets. 2011, we began the production for the local supply of Cemfloor screed in-house here. I suppose what makes us different from our competitors is that we manufacture and distribute our finished product in-house, as well as manufacturing the binder for resale to the UK and throughout Ireland as well. 2016, we agreed the sole distribution rights for the Cemfloor product for Ireland and the UK, and started to manufacture the product within our Kong plant here. 2018, we have up to 80 channel partners across Ireland and the UK. 2019, we received BBA approval for the product, which was the first cement-based liquid screed in the UK to receive the same. And 2020, we hope to be manufacturing within the UK late this year. The company is still presently family-owned as well. So just our production facilities and capabilities for the Cemfloor liquid screed binder. So it's a modern production facility. As I mentioned, the UK facility we hope to have opened the end of this year. So that'll secure us post-Brexit as well in our UK supply. We also have a depot in Ayr in Scotland for collections as well for Cemfloor. So the plant is fully ISO accredited. So we've full traceability on all our Cemfloor binder products from batch and right through to plant. Production potential of about 250,000 tonne of Cemfloor binder per annum. We do a lot of calibration with our customers to develop products to suit their needs as well. So there's just a current view of some of our channel partners at the minute throughout Ireland and the UK as well. So again, we manufacture the Cemfloor binder here with Incon and distribute it to concrete plants within Ireland and the UK. They mix it with their own cement and sand to produce the Cemfloor binder. So this is the production of the screeds. So they're produced in ISO or Kite Mark accredited ready mix concrete plants. So you have full batch records with every mix. Full automation ensures consistency in each batch. So we also provide an NBS specification. It's an M10 for a cement-based leveling screed. Screeds are produced to 13813 and they're CE marked also. And they're installed under the code of practice BS 8204. So you can see there's the Cemfloor proprietary binder. So that's delivered by bulk tanker, blown into a silo, and then it's added to Portland cement, sand, water, and super plasticizer within the plant. And then you produce your Cemfloor liquid screed. So just to take a quick look at the UK market, I suppose, and predominantly, the market there is still very much traditional sand and cement screed. The flow and screed market has grown by about 15% in the last 3 years, but we still see that it's still traditionally the old way of putting in dry screed, which thankfully is changing. So the types of screed you have a semi-dry screed, which I talked about, which is the old dry screed. You have a calcium sulfate screed, which is anhydrate, hemihydrate, gypsum, self-leveling screeds. Then you have a cement-based flowing screed, which is what we're talking about here, is Cemfloor. So it combines the best of both products. So you have a cement-based product that's self-leveling as well. So it can be known as a self-leveling traditional screed because you have the benefits of both. So the benefits of using Cemfloor, so health and safety concerns are reduced. So cement burns, joint pains, dust inhalation, manual handling. It's much faster on the installation. So 1,000 meters squared per day can be easily achieved. So it means in these current regulations with COVID, you have less men on site, less time on site. So it's a faster, quicker, and more robust job. Certified material with full batch records and test results. So it's, as I mentioned, it was produced in accredited plants. So it's delivered with full records and traceability and certification. Delivered to site and installed immediately. Less congestion on site and no need to store materials on site. Less labor intensive, fewer operators, which is ideal in the current restrictions. Easier to achieve a flat surface finish, so a minimum of SR2 is well achievable. Possible to install it at reduced depths, reduced drying times due to reduced screed depth can be force dried after 7 days. So one of the main advantages of the cement-based liquid screed is that over the gypsum is the drying times are exceptionally more. Works well with underfloor heating. It fully encapsulates the heating pipes and gives good, excellent thermal conductivity. And with the same binder in your silo, you can also produce a self-compacting 10mm concrete, which we call Cemfloor HPC, Cemfloor High Performance Concrete. So these just are the methods of screed construction. You can see there, you can do a 20mm bonded screed. You can do a 30mm unbonded screed. So for a floating screed, which is on insulation, is 35 mil on domestic applications and 45 mil on commercial applications. So floating screed with underfloor heating installed is 25 mil above the pipe. So we recommend a minimum of 25 mil pipe coverage. They're just Cemfloor being delivered to site, so it's delivered by trucks mixer. Flow test is carried out before the product, so all our applicators are approved and trained by ourselves on installation of Cemfloor as well. It's pumped into site then and dappled and finished. So it's a simple application, but again, it's a specialized trade where we train up all our applicators. So I suppose the advantages of using Cemfloor. So it's all the benefits of a flowing screed. You don't have any sanding to remove latents like gypsum-based screeds. It dries ready for floor finishes very quickly, so tiles can be laid in a non-heated floor after 4 days, whereas vinyls can be laid within 3 weeks, depending on site conditions. It's very robust and stable, so there's no segregation or bleeding in the mix. It's complete compatibility with cement-based floor levelers and adhesives. Compatibility with other products in the batching plant, no cross-contamination. So I suppose this is an important point here, is that the Cemfloor binder doesn't contaminate your standard concrete mixes. So most of our customers and most of the customers who would potentially be producing liquid-based screeds would also produce concrete. Like, it's very rare you see a specialized screed plant. So you need compatibility to have a product that doesn't contaminate your standard ready-mix concrete like gypsum. So can be used in wet areas. So obviously in rooms where you have wet rooms or changing rooms or any of that thing where water ingress can happen, it can be used there. It can be wet or dry batched. So a lot of our channel partners would wet batch it through a pan mixer or a horizontal mixer, and a lot of them are on dry batching as well. It's just a different procedure. Again, we do all the training and backup and plant startups for that. So it's a higher value product. It's a better marginal product compared to standard ready-mix concrete. You have no expensive disposal of return concrete. So because it's a cement-based product, it can be filled into Lego blocks or dumped in your concrete waste pile without any fear of contamination, unlike gypsum, which experiences large costs and skips to get rid of the returned or unused material. It's BBA approved product, as I said, the first cement based in Ireland and the UK to be BBA approved. Works with a large percentage of the floor covering companies. So I suppose we work with all the tile companies and vinyls and adhesive companies closely. So it's not just about giving product awareness to our end users. It's about the people that come after us as well. Make sure they have full knowledge of the product. So again, all our applicators are approved. We supply them with training videos, books, and access to all the information on our website portal. So these just are some case studies of jobs we've done. So Capital Docks within Dublin City, Ballymore Royal Wharf in London, a Primark in Birmingham there. It's one of the largest Primarks in Europe. And there's just an Aéroville shopping centre in Paris was done by our French partners. We're currently on site in Battersea Power Station as well. So that's quite a large job for us. It's been used continuously throughout Ireland and the UK in everything from small extensions to massive projects, residential and commercial. So I'm just going to play a short little video for yourselves, which will show a little bit more about the product, and I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes.
McGrath's Kong is proud to present our newest innovative product, Cemfloor Liquid Screed. Cemfloor is a cement-based liquid floor screed. It is a mixture of ordinary Portland cement, sand, water, and Cemfloor proprietary additive, all of which are CE certified. Cemfloor proprietary additive is a mixture of carefully selected materials which are blended on-site in our automated production facility to the highest of standards. Cemfloor screeds are produced in a certified approved factory by mixing all the ingredients at carefully selected portions. After batching, the mixed screed is sampled and tested for slump flow, compressive strength, flexural strength and drying shrinkage to ensure its conformance to EN 13813-1. The ready mix screed is delivered to our clients on site, ready for use. This process ensures a consistent high-quality product every time. Cemfloor screeds are installed to level tripods which have been preset by a laser level and staff. This allows the screed to achieve a minimum surface flatness of SR2. After carrying out a flow test on site, the Cemfloor screed is pumped into the carefully prepared floor area and is placed by approved contractors in accordance with BS 8204-1 who have completed the required training for the placement of Cemfloor screeds. Compared to traditional screeds, Cemfloor screeds are placed much easier and the risk of damaging the subsurface and heating pipes is eliminated due to the self-flowing characteristics of Cemfloor screeds. Cemfloor is also much easier to lay than traditional screeds as it is self-leveling and doesn't need to be power floated to achieve a smooth level surface. One of the main benefits of Cemfloor is the speed that it can be laid at. In most cases, up to 10 times faster than conventional screed or up to 2,000 square meters a day. This results in much shorter build times and increased productivity for our customers. Cemfloor totally encapsulates the underfloor heating pipework, eliminating air voids around the pipes, which is a common problem with traditional screeds. This benefit ensures maximum heat transfer from the pipework to the screed. Cemfloor screeds are practically self-leveling and only require a gentle dappling to achieve the necessary smooth surface finish. Once dappled, a suitable curing agent is applied to prevent water evaporation during initial curing. To speed up the drying process, the underfloor heating can be turned on after 7 days. Cemfloor is compatible with all standard floor coverings including tiles, carpets and timber floors. As Cemfloor is a cement-based screed, it is compatible with all types of floor adhesives that are used to apply the final floor covering. The adhesives can be applied directly to the hardened screed surface without the need for expensive primers or sealers. The main benefits of Cemfloor screed: reduced screed depths compared to traditional screeds, substantially improves the performance of underfloor heating, no curling or cracking of the finished screed. It is CE marked in accordance with EN 13813-1, can be foot trafficked after 24 hours, less labour intensive, reduced installation time and reduced health and safety risks. No need to sand the hardened surface to remove latents. Reduced drying times. The underfloor heating can be turned on after 7 days. Compatible with all types of floor covering adhesives. No need for primers or sealers. Suitable for both domestic and commercial projects and can be used with or without underfloor heating. Cemfloor, the latest in cement-based liquid screeds. For further information, contact the Cemfloor team on 01415 307 587 or info@cemfloor.co.uk.
So yeah, that was just a little video on us. If you need any more contact details for myself, Keith McGrath, they'll be available from Callum or Sean. So I'm just going to hand you over now to Stephen and Gravitation weighbridges as well. And thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Keith. Sorry, Stephen, just before you start there, I'd just like to let you all know that if you have any questions or would like a follow-up call from myself, Herbst Software, or Jordan, Keith, or Stephen, you can click on the offers tab over to your right and schedule a time and date that is suitable for a follow-up call. That's the offers tab over on your right, and you can schedule a call, a follow-up call for a time and date that suits you. Thanks very much. Sorry for interrupting there, Stephen.
Thanks, Callum. I'll just get this presentation up. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen McAvinchey. I was both flattered and pleased to be asked by Herbst to say a few words to you today about weighbridges. And just
Okay.
I was just trying to get the slide over on the screen here so I can do a bit of whiteboard scribbling on it.
Right. Okay. So you can't actually do any scribbling on it. You're going to start the presentation in the slide section and just go from there. Okay.
Leave it on the small screen. Okay. Apologies about that, guys. So as I said, Stephen McAvinchey is my name from Gravitation. Pleased to be here to have a few words with you today about weighbridges. Just to give you a little bit of background about our company. Gravitation is a family-run business. We've been going since 1993. We're specialized in the supply, service, and calibration of industrial weighing systems, everything from precision balances in the laboratory up to industrial bench scales and platform scales, mobile weighing solutions, then onto vehicle weighing solutions such as weighbridges and axle weighers. We're quite strongly focused on the weighbridge market. I'd say it probably represents about half of our activity. From weighbridges, then we go up to bulk material silos. Here we are. And apart from weighing hardware, we also supply associated weighing software, including Herbst Insight software. By the vast majority of solutions that we sell would be compatible for integration with Herbst, mainly on the weighbridge side of things, but also within other modules such as the point of sale module, where smaller items can be sold by weight via a connected scale. So moving on to weighbridges, I'm just going to go through a few of the main types of weighbridge on the market. What you can choose from. The first one up is a flat top weighbridge deck design, which is quite aptly named because the top surface of the deck is smooth. It's probably the most common weighbridge type being supplied nowadays, and probably the most flexible because it can be used either overground with ramps to access it, or in a pit for a flush mounted. Flat top weighbridge is available in an all steel structure or in a concrete composite deck design. Next type of weighbridge is a drive-through weighbridge, which many would see as sort of the more traditional or old-fashioned style of weighbridge. It's distinguished by the tall RSJs or I-beams down either side of the bridge that make up a big part of the strength of the deck structure. But moreover, it also forms natural curbing or a crash barrier to prevent a vehicle or a wheel from going over the side of the weighbridge. Again, available either as steel or concrete. And the final type of weighbridge I'll show you here is what we would call a dual track or a portable weighbridge, designed to be easily and quickly installed and easily and quickly relocated. So all of the modules are small enough to be moved around by a forklift truck. No crane is necessary, and can be moved on. So suitable for short-term projects. Moving on to the question then of whether a concrete deck or a steel deck is better, and we could speak about that for quite a while, but in simple terms, a concrete deck is usually a more cost-effective solution, and it's a more long-lasting solution. So if you can plan ahead. The disadvantage of a concrete deck is that you do have to wait for the concrete to cure. So you're looking at 3 to 4 weeks from delivery to commissioning. But if you can plan ahead and it's perceived as a permanent installation, I would always steer people in the direction of a concrete deck. On the other hand, if you see the weighbridge as being relocated down the road, or if you really need to get up and running in a hurry, a steel deck can be installed and commissioned in one day. So in those circumstances, a steel deck might be the one to go for. The next question is whether the weighbridge should go overground or flush in a pit. What I would say to most people would be if you have space in your yard to put the weighbridge overground with access ramps, that's probably the way to go for a few reasons. One, it's the lowest cost civil works, and two, cleaning and service is easier on an overground weighbridge over time. So for those reasons, that's the way the majority of bridges go in. Although, if yard space is at a premium, sometimes a weighbridge has to go into a pit because it doesn't take up anywhere near as much space. And there are, of course, some health and safety benefits to having a weighbridge flush with the ground. So at the heart of any weighing system are the load cells, or the weighing sensors that do the weighing. So I'm just going to show you a few of the different load cell types that can go under a weighbridge. We have probably used just about every type of load cell over the years, so we've learned from our experiences. But to give you an idea of them all here, the first type, I'm going to try and scribble just to highlight what I'm speaking about. The double link suspension system. That's a load cell that sits on top of a pedestal, and the weighbridge actually hangs from steel links, large chain links. So the weighbridge is hanging or floating. It's a free floating design. The system works quite well. The disadvantages, I suppose, would be, one, it's quite an expensive mounting arrangement, and two, you can end up with broken links over time. The second type of weighbridge load cell I'll show you here is the weigh bar. It's a very nice design in principle, and that it's built into the weighbridge, and the weighbridge either hangs from links again or sits on top of a load pin. The downside to the weigh bars, we don't use these as a matter of course, is that they are made of mild steel, so they'll rust they'll rust over time. And secondly, they're not that amazingly well sealed, so moisture ingress can be a problem over time. Moving on over here to a ball bearing type load cell. This is basically the weighbridge sits on top of a bracket, on top of quite a large ball bearing, and the deck structure is free to roll around on these ball bearings within certain limits. It's a really nice design. It performs really, really well. The only hesitation or the reluctance I have to use these in practice is that most of them are made of an alloy steel, which again will rust over time. So our weighbridge of choice, that was the ball bearing, our weighbridge of choice would be the rocker column compression style of load cell. It's simply a column, and the weighbridge sits directly onto the column in order to perform the weighing. So I'll go on to my next screen here and show you some of the things some of the features or some of the specifications that you would ideally get in an ideal weighbridge load cell. So that the type of load cell that we use on our weighbridges have all of these features. The ones on the previous slide, none of them will have all of these features. They'll have some of them. So ideally, your load cell will be made of stainless steel. That means that it's obviously not going to rust or rot over time, and it's a much longer lasting proposition. The IP protection of the load cell gives how dustproof and waterproof is it. IP68 signifies that a load cell is suitable for temporary immersion underwater. IP69K signifies that a load cell can be washed down with high pressure water. So it's the gold standard, I suppose, in terms of environmental protection. In the UK and Ireland, we're obviously no strangers to rain, so whatever's under your weighbridge probably wants to be able to stand up to some water and some dirt. In terms of load cell accuracy, C3 is by far the most common on the market. C3 means that you can have 3,000 scale divisions. That maybe doesn't mean a whole lot to most people, but in weighbridge terms, it means that your 50 or 60 ton weighbridge can weigh in 20 kilo increments or 20 kilo steps. C6 is a step up from that. You're allowed 6,000 scale divisions, meaning that your weighbridge can weigh in 10 kilo increments. Built-in surge protection. Not all load cells have this, but some do, and it's obviously a great feature, because one thing that load cells do fear are electrical surges, mainly lightning, but occasionally poor power or fluctuations in power or power cuts can lead to surges to damage load cells. So the built-in surge protection in a load cell is what they call gas discharge tubes. These gas discharge tubes, they allow an alternative path to ground. If a high voltage hits the load cell, it can bypass the circuitry of the load cell and go to ground without doing any harm. I'll tell you a quick story on that one. Just this was one of the reasons we'd be so much in support of it. We've two customers quite local to ourselves. Each customer has two weighbridges, one of an older generation and one of a newer generation from Gravitation. The older bridges don't have lightning protection, the newer ones do. So a couple of years ago, there were some pretty decent lightning storms, and the next day, both of these customers had load cells gone on their older weighbridges, and both of their newer weighbridges were good. So we took that to be a very good indication of the performance of the lightning protection. Rodent-proof cabling. Basically, some load cells can be supplied with an outer steel braid, stainless steel or galvanized braid, which just provides some extra protection for the load cell cables. It's primarily designed to prevent nibbles from little hairy characters under the weighbridge. That might not be as much of an issue in the aggregates industry, but it's still, the braid will provide mechanical strength and protection to the load cells to protect them to the cables, to protect them from nicks or cuts, which can lead to problems in the long term. And then anti-rotation. I won't dwell on that too long, but basically, if a weighbridge is a free-floating design, the weighbridge is actually free to move within certain limitations. So as a truck is braking or turning on a weighbridge, you can put a turning moment onto the load cell, making it want to turn. And if a load cell continues to turn, the cable will get wrapped and the cable will get damaged. Potentially, the load cell will have to be replaced. So that's a problem best avoided. Some load cells have quite weak and light anti-rotation pins, which can break or fall out. The load cells that we use here, the way that they're machined, they're round at the bottom and they're square a little bit further up, so that when they sit into their mounting cap, they literally physically cannot rotate. So they're just a few of the things that if you're speaking to a weighbridge company in relation to weighbridge supply, some of the questions that you could ask about the load cells that are being supplied. I'll just clear my scribbles there. The next thing, there's the question over whether digital or analog load cells are best, and that's a debate that could go on for forever. But to give you a quick idea of how load cells work in the first place, a load cell is supplied with a DC voltage, and within the load cell, that voltage is converted to a millivolt analog signal, and that millivolt signal will increase with increasing weight being applied to the load cell. So on an analog load cell, the analog to digital conversion happens in the weight indicator. So how the millivolt signal translates to a figure on screen is happening in the weight indicator in your office. On a digital load cell, that conversion is happening in the load cell itself. There are some advantages in terms of diagnostics, service, and adjustments, calibrations, mainly advantages to the service engineer to digital load cells. But I suppose a word of warning, the main reason that manufacturers have developed digital load cells is to have a proprietary product under the weighbridge, which if you ever felt like moving suppliers would make it a very difficult or expensive exercise. So for me, I would recommend analog load cells as being a more widely available, more widely cross-compatible option. The other thing to note there as well, just in recent times, it is possible to get full digital weighbridge functionality from a digital junction box whilst retaining the advantages of analog load cells. So this slide now is just to give you an idea of the add-ons or options in terms of weighbridge automation that we or other providers can supply as part of a weighbridge system. So firstly, we'd have CCTV cameras that can take, at the same time as the weight is being captured in a weighbridge transaction, the CCTV images can be stored to the weighbridge docket or the weighbridge ticket. We're talking, in terms of Herbst, we're talking about the Herbst cam module here, where you can index images along with the weighing transaction. You can have further cameras, at the front and back of the weighbridge to capture the vehicle registration plate. We have traffic lights. We have remote displays, both for the driver's benefit. You see on top of the poles here at the end of the weighbridge, a bit like the video that Callum showed earlier, are driver-operated terminals or driver kiosks where your weighbridge transactions can take place from the cab of the vehicle without ever having to dismount, without ever having to make contact with the outside world. The last couple of features here are optical sensors to control the position of the vehicle on the weighbridge, so that if a half a wheel happened to be over the end of the weighbridge, and it would prevent the weighbridge, the weighing transaction from taking place until the vehicle is properly positioned on the weighbridge. And then finally, traffic barriers can control the access and egress from the weighbridge. And just clear my scribbles once more. I'll just say a quick word about calibration and verification of weighbridges. I suppose I would see calibration as a question of quality. So you may have customers, suppliers, accreditations, auditing bodies that dictate that you need to have a current calibration cert for your weighbridge. Verification, on the other hand, is the legal side of things. So any measuring instrument, weighbridges included, that's being used for a commercial transaction must be verified as legal for trade. Your calibration frequency, generally speaking, annual is a rule of thumb, but it may be different calibration frequency. Some people require more, some people require less, according to their own quality systems. And I won't dwell on it too much, but just to give you an idea of what's involved in the calibration test, there's a little picture here of our weighbridge test unit out doing a test on a weighbridge. One of the main tests is repeatability. So you apply 50% of the weighbridge capacity and then 100% of the weighbridge capacity repeatedly 3 or 4 times. And the test is to show that a weighbridge weighs consistently, that it's going to weigh the same load the same way every time. And that's your repeatability test. Eccentricity, or another word for it, is the corner test. It's where we apply a concentrated load on the corners of the weighbridge over each of the load cells. And this is to ascertain that the weighbridge weighs the same regardless of where you park on the weighbridge. It's important that is right. And finally, your linearity test is a series of tests, five weighing tests between the minimum capacity and the maximum capacity of the scale to check that the scale is accurate right the way through the range of the scale. Next, moving on to preventive maintenance and internal checks. I just have a couple of slides here. I'll share a quick story with you about the picture here is of 2 very nice, shiny new weighbridges on their way out the door a number of years ago to a prominent civil engineering company. Moving on to the next slide, we see one of those 2 nice, shiny weighbridges in a less shiny state at a busy site in the middle of Dublin City. So we were called to site because they had a number of trucks that were sent out, I think contaminated soil going overseas. And the trucks were pulled by the police and weighed and found to be heavily overloaded. So the company were facing some pretty big fines and they wanted to know why was this happening. So on closer inspection, I suppose it was probably obvious from the picture that the weighbridge couldn't possibly weigh right with all of this dirt around it. But more than that, the cement trucks had been washing out in the vicinity of the weighbridge, and one end of the weighbridge was actually sitting in concrete. So not surprising that the weighbridge was weighing a bit light and there was trucks going out overloaded. But I suppose the moral of the story is that there were some hefty fines that had to be paid that could have been avoided if the weighbridge was kept clean. So moving on again to more sort of preventive maintenance and what can you do to keep your weighbridge right. I'll just reiterate the point that keep the weighbridge clean. And I'm not a clean freak by any means. I really don't care too much, to be honest, about what the weighbridge looks like in terms of dirt. I don't care what's sitting on top of the weighbridge, but as a service provider, we do care about what's sitting under your weighbridge. If the weighbridge is sitting down on dirt and putting weight into dirt rather than putting the weight through its sensors, your weighbridge is going to end up weighing light. If a weighbridge weighs light, that quite simply equals product giveaway. And I think we can all agree that that is something best avoided. I suppose it would be fair to say I don't have a problem with people spending money, but I really don't like to see money being wasted. So another area where if you could have an inspection on a weighbridge from legal metrology in Ireland or trading standards in the UK, where they're inspecting your weighbridge as part of their inspection activities. And it's quite feasible for a weighbridge that would otherwise pass to fail due to a dirt build-up under the bridge. And that's just money wasted, which we definitely don't like to see. Some in-house checks that you can perform yourselves, before, maybe just to reassure yourself that the weighbridge is operating as intended, or to maybe preempt a problem. Number one, if you have, if there's another local trader that you're reasonably friendly with, you can send loads to their weighbridge to cross-check against your own to make sure that your weighbridge is weighing pretty close to okay. Another thing you can do is kind of your own eccentricity or corner test with whatever machines you might have in your facility. So, using a loading shovel, if you were to park the loading shovel at the end of the bridge, at the middle of the bridge, and at the far end of the bridge, it doesn't really matter what the weight is, but we want the weight to be the same across the bridge. If it isn't sort of within plus or minus 20 kilos, you could be looking at a load cell problem or a dirt buildup or whatever. The same test could be done with a forklift. Just your forklift represents a concentrated load, and you can park it and weigh it over 6 points over the 6 or 8 load cells, whatever might be under your bridge, and that'll give you a good indication as to whether or not the weighbridge is performing as it should. On that note, I think I will thank you for your attention, and I'll pass you back to Callum. If you want to get in touch, my contact details will be available from Callum or Sean. So thank you.
So thank you, Stephen. Thanks very much for that presentation, and thank you very much to Jordan and Keith as well from Pneutrol and from Cemfloor. So what I would say to all of you is thank you all very much for your own time and for sticking with us for the last hour or so. Appreciate it. As I said earlier on, if you would like any follow-up call, please do not hesitate to contact us through the offers or through sales@herbst.ie for an online demo or a site analysis for your business. Okay. Something that I'd like to mention that I didn't mention earlier on is we at Herbst Software are constantly evolving. We're constantly moving and improving our versions. This includes our trucker apps and our driver kiosks, and our new version is out now, something that you didn't see earlier on, and it's quite exciting. As with everything that we do, we're constantly improving, we're constantly creating efficiencies and improving the integration within our business and improving the speed and accuracy at which people enter and use the system. So everything is evolving, and as you see us and as you meet us at the Concrete Show in September, hopefully, or next year at Hillhead, we will always have something new, and hopefully we'll speak again, and we'll see you all soon, and we'll be able to follow up with you and have either a demo or a meeting either on site or via Zoom. Once again, thank you all very much for your time, and as I said, if you have any questions or would like any more information from either myself, Stephen, Keith, or Jordan, please do not hesitate to contact any of them or myself. So thank you all very much for your time, or myself. So thank you all very much for your time.